Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Okay guys, I want to wish you a very, very Merry Christmas. It is Tuesday, December 24th, and it's 9:23 p.m. Anyway, what I'm going to be doing in this video is we're going to be going over the Q posts that I missed from yesterday, and then we're going to just touch on a couple of news items, and that will be it for tonight anyway. So let's just come over here. I do have plenty of people to thank, and you guys blow me away all the time. You really do. But I'm going to leave that to the end for my very faithful listeners who listen right to the very end. And I will do that then. And I'm going to get to the Q post right now. Then afterwards, I'm not going to do it in a separate video. I will tag it onto this video. Just a few news items that I want to touch on, and that will be it. Probably the majority of you are enjoying Christmas at home with your significant other or your family around you, or you may be even traveling to see loved ones. But and I pray that if you are, that you would remain safe in your journeys, and that you would have a wonderful Christmas. Anyway, let's get started here. All right, this is drop 3748. And it says the Democrats, want to flood the U.S. with illegal immigrants to gain political power. That's nothing new to those of us that have been following Q. We know that that is what they're doing. They are literally trying to import new political party members, I guess. So let's take a look. Q has left us with two links here to look at, so that is what we're going to do now. Let's go out there now and just see what he wants us to see. All right. Study immigration to redistribute 26 congressional seats to blue states for 2022 election. Isn't that interesting? And it says the nation's illegal and legal immigration system will help shift 26 congressional seats, primarily from red states, and redistribute them to mostly blue states next year, according to new analysis. Every year, the United States imports about 1.2 legal immigrants who largely arrive to unite with foreign relatives already in the country. This level of annual legal immigration is in addition to the hundreds of thousands of foreign workers who arrive on work visas every year, and nearly 1 million illegal aliens who successfully enter the U.S. Research by the Center for Immigration Studies, Stephen Camarato and Karen Ziegler, finds that annual illegal and legal immigration to the U.S. will redistribute political power in the form of 26 House seats away from a number of red states and towards massively populated blue states like California and New York. To put this number in perspective, changing the party of 21 members of the current Congress would flip the majority in the U.S. House, Camaradas and Ziegler note. So, Ohio, a swing state that voted for President Trump in 2016, will get 3 fewer congressional seats in 2020 due to mass immigration in other states. Michigan and Pennsylvania, also states that voted for Trump in 2016, will each have 2 fewer congressional seats. Wisconsin, a Trump-supporting swing state, will have its congressional seats cut by at least 1. Red states such as Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, North Carolina, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, Utah, and West Virginia, Camarota and Ziegler predict, will all get 1 less congressional seat in 2020. Smaller blue states such as Minnesota and Rhode Island will each receive 1 less congressional seat. Those seats cut from mostly red states will be redistributed to California, the most immigration inundated state in the country. California by 2020 is set to gain 11 congressional seats solely due to the fact that non-citizens, rather than just American citizens, are counted in congressional appointment. Likewise, New York, where nearly 40% of residents are foreign-born, is set to gain 4 more congressional seats, and New Jersey, with a more than 22% foreign-born population, will also take an additional 2 congressional seats. Texas, which has become increasingly blue due to immigration and out-of-state young people, will gain another 4 congressional seats, as will the swing state of Florida with its foreign-born population of 4.1 million. The deeply blue states of Illinois and Massachusetts, both of which went 55 to 60% for Democrat Hillary Clinton in the 2016 presidential election, will each gain 1 congressional seat. As Breitbart News has chronicled for years, the counting of only American citizens to divide up congressional districts and electoral college votes would shift power away from the affluent metropolitan coastal cities of the U.S. toward middle America. If congressional districts were set by the number of citizens, the overall average population needed per congressional seat could decrease to about 670,000 citizens per district. This would give a stronger advantage for states with small illegal alien populations to gain and keep their current number of congressional seats. Camerota and Ziegler's research is one component of how overall immigration is aiding in shifting power to Democrats and metropolitan cities such as Los Angeles, New York City, and San Francisco. In the upcoming 2020 election, about 1 in 10 U.S. voters will have been born outside the country. Ron Brownstein, senior editor for The Atlantic, noted this year that nearly 90% of House congressional districts with a foreign-born population above the national average were won by Democrats. This means that every congressional district with a foreign-born population exceeding roughly 14% had a 90% chance of being controlled by Democrats and only a 10% chance of electing a Republican. The New York Times and Axios admits that illegal immigration at its current rate will continue shifting the American electorate towards more democratic control, as discovered in the 2016 presidential election between then candidates Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Among native-born Americans, Trump won 49% to Clinton's 45%, according to exit polling data. Among foreign-born residents, Clinton dominated Trump, garnering 64% of the immigrant population's vote compared to Trump's mere 31%. So, yeah, it's interesting. And look at this. Were you born a U.S. citizen? Yes, 91%. No, 9%. And look who they voted for. If you were born a U.S. citizen, you voted for you voted for Donald Trump. 49% of those that were American citizens at the time and born in the States were voting for Trump. All right, but those that weren't, who were they voting for? Only 31% of them voted for Trump, and 64% voted for Clinton. Now, why is that? Well, the Democrats are very, very good to illegal immigrants. Absolutely. I'm not talking about legal immigrants, people that, like me, I am a legal immigrant, but not, the majority of the people that are voting Democrat are illegal immigrants. The U.S. is on track to import about 15 million new foreign-born voters in the next 2 decades should current legal immigration levels continue. Those 15 million new foreign-born voters include about 8 million who will arrive in the country through chain migration, whereby newly naturalized citizens can bring an unlimited number of foreign relatives to the country. University of Maryland College Park researcher James Gimple has found in recent years that more immigrants to the U.S. inevitably mean more Democrat voters, and thus increasing electoral victories for the Democrat Party. So, yeah, and I wouldn't say that this is like startling news to any of us. I think we all know this and realize this, but seeing it in print, just reiterates it. And I guess makes us feel affirmed in our belief, because we know what's happening. Nobody wants to believe it, but we see it. Anyway, let's go on now. Let's go back, and we're going to go to the second link that he has left us. And it says, red state Democrat governors approve more refugees for their states. Well, why wouldn't they? They know those refugees are going to, vote Democrat and keep them in power. So why wouldn't they vote that way? Why wouldn't they want approve more refugees? Why wouldn't they approve them? It only makes sense if you're a Democrat. And to me, it's hard to put myself in the mind of a Democrat, because I don't understand how they think at all. All right, and I don't think that it's necessary for us to read this. I think this is all stuff that we know. Obviously the links, I include the links in Patreon. I upload my show notes to Patreon, so you will be able to see these links. And let me go back here, and we will finish this post. So we've looked at the links that Q has provided us, and he says, important to read and understand. Why do the Democrats want to flood the U.S. with illegal immigrants? Because the illegal immigrants will vote for them. Because, they're not going to bite the hand that feeds them, are they? No, not at all. This is not another 4-year election. Our democracy is at stake. Boy, is it ever. Power and control. Do not mistake this back channel tool as a means to be complacent. Now, Q is talking about what back channel tool? Well, this one right here. The fact that Q can post on 8kun and we can get the messages, that is a back channel. We're not hearing it from an official channel. We're hearing it from a back channel, an unapproved channel. But Q is letting us know, look, just because we're communicating with you back channel, this is just a tool. It's not a means to be complacent. We still have to fight for our rights, for the democracy. And so he said, don't let this be a means to be complacent. Let's not just sit back and say, well, they're doing it. Q's doing it. Yeah, Q will do it. President Trump will do it. We can just sit back and watch. No, we need to fight. And he says, fight, fight, fight. Your voice and your vote matters. And it does. Q. All right. Now we are going to move on to the next. And of course, right on time, that cough comes. I know it's bad for me. It's the holidays. Okay, I'll blame it on that this time. All right, and then we are now at 3749, drop 3749. Again, from yesterday, Democrat Party threatened Representative Jeff Van Drew, New Jersey, to vote yes for impeachment. Now, Q has left us with a link to YouTube, and that's where we're going now. Well, I hope that's where we're going. Yes.
There's a new Republican congressman on Capitol Hill. New Jersey's Jeff Van Drew officially saying goodbye to the Democrats amid disagreements over impeachment policy and the direction of the party. Congressman Jeff Van Drew joins me right now in an exclusive interview.
Now, this is 8 minutes long, but I am going to play it in its entirety because Q has directed us to this video, so he wants us to watch it. So in case there are people that have not seen it, I think it's important. It's 8 minutes, and I'm just going to let it play through here. In fact, I'll make it bigger here.
It is a pleasure to see you. Thanks very much for joining me this morning.
It is a pleasure to be with you, and as I was saying before, I am so proud to be associated with you. You truly represent what news media should be about and just how to conduct a show like this. I'm very, very proud of you and the work that you do, and the objectivity that you have. So
I really
thank you. And
appreciate
you were
that.
the first one to give me a shot, too.
Congressman, that means the world to me in this environment of media today. I'm grateful, and I so appreciate your comments. Let me ask you, we spoke on the phone the other day, and you said, you know, Maria, I always look for signs. There was a sign, something in you that said, I'm not comfortable here. Tell me how you came to this decision to leave the majority, the Democrats, and become a Republican congressman.
Well, the final point and the final sign. So there has been all along, you know, where the party is moving further and further to the left, where there's discussions of it being a socialist party, and I am a proud capitalist. I believe in hard work. I believe that we can give people opportunity, but that they also, when they get that opportunity, have to work hard to achieve success. You can't give them success, and many other things that I'm sure we'll talk as we go along here. But the final sign for me was, oddly enough, actually in my home county, when one of the county chairmen, and I have 8 counties, one of the county chairmen came to me and said, I have to speak with you. And I said, sure, and sat down, and he said, I just want to let you know that you have to vote for impeachment. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, you've got to vote for impeachment. If you don't, you're not going to be able to run in my county. Well, first of all, it's not his county, it's our county. And you're not going to be able to move forward, and you're not going to get the line, which is a big deal in New Jersey, and you're not going to be successful. And first of all, I still could have run, and I still could have gotten the line, and I could have fought it out. I fought a lot of things in my life, and I fought hard to be where I am. But it made me think, for all the years that I've worked so hard and tried to give so much, not only to the party, but to everybody, the things that we've done, and I won't go into them, but many, many infrastructure projects and helping people and all the services that we try to give people in our offices. And it all boils down to one vote, that I may have my own individual opinion on one vote, and that's not going to be allowed. I'm going to be punished for that. And that's when I knew. I had been thinking about it for a while, and I said, and you know, I was speaking to my chief of staff about this, and I said to her, I said, you know, there's always been in my career and over time something that happens that lets you know that it is time to make a change. And this was it.
You know, that's really interesting.
It was time to make a change.
So you were uncomfortable with the shaming and, you know, the pushback that you couldn't do what you thought was right, that you had to go along with the herd. Look, we talked about this before, that, you know, Congress is going to have to go back to its district. And we've got a map here of the 31 districts, of what the districts that President Trump won, but these people will have to get reelected. And they also have to follow their conscience. And yet, this impeachment vote last week, you were among the few. You and Colin Peterson were the only 2 that voted no on both articles, and then one other voted no on just one article. So post-impeachment vote, what are you feeling today? What struck you about the impeachment? You were a no going into it. You told us that a month ago.
Exactly. And how I feel today is I feel good. I feel that I did the honorable thing. I feel that I did what was right for me and right for the country. And I heard Lindsay a little while before, this impeachment is a weak, thin impeachment that just doesn't really mean anything much to most of the American people. And it has been a long, dark shadow on our country. And folks are tired. I really believe folks are tired of it. They're tired of the hours and hours and hours of time that has been spent on it. They're tired of the millions of dollars that have been spent on it, and they want to move forward. Maria, we have so many important issues, and yes, we've done a few. No doubt, we're doing a few, but there are so many more, whether it's election security, whether it's better care for our veterans, whether it's a host of other issues, and I could go through one after another, Medicare, Medicaid, we can talk about all of them, that we should be concentrating 100% of our time on. We are there to work for the American people and not to have constant political bickering and to come up with a weak impeachment. And, you know, most importantly, we must understand what impeachment is. It almost never happens for a reason. Other than declaring war, it is the most serious issue that America, and action that America could ever take. And it harms our country. It fractions us apart. It makes us more, literally, creates more civil unrest. It creates more unhurt. I want to bring people together. Let's bring Americans together.
Congressman, throughout this week, after you made the switch, a lot of people were saying, well, look, he left the Democrats, now he's a Republican. How can we trust him as a Republican? So we have your voting record here, and you have followed your principles in your voting record. I mean, we've got that you voted to override President Trump's veto of a bill that overturned his emergency declaration for border wall funding. You voted to block President Trump from withdrawing from the Paris Climate Change Accord. When you look at your voting record and you hear some of the skeptics who say, look, Jeff Van Drew just left his own party, now he's with us, we don't know if we can trust him. What do you want to say about that in terms of how you are going to push for the Republican Party now?
I always pushed for what I believed was right and what I believed was best. And so, for example, we talked about the environment a little bit. I believe that we can have a good environment and that we can do what's right for the environment at the same time not hurt our business atmosphere in the state and in the country. And I think that's very, very important. And I think the biggest reason I can say that people know that, I've had many, many Republicans vote for me for years, and many Democrats. I try to do, again, what is the best. So I've won in areas, and as we've talked about before, where I was, one in the, literally, I think only the first or the second state senator in history to ever win in my state, in my district. I was only one of a handful of freeholders that ever won since the Civil War, which are county commissioners. Make a long story short, people voted me not only because of my political party,
right,
but most importantly because they knew my word was my bond. They knew that I love this country more than anything in the world.
Well, the other thing is, I heard you.
We can do better.
I heard you quote Reagan the other day, and you said, "Look, I didn't leave." He said, "I didn't leave the Dem Party. The Democratic Party left me." And I love what you said the other day when I spoke with you. You said, "Look, I want America to know that we're exceptional. I believe in America exceptionalism. So, and you're a capitalist. Tell me what went wrong in terms of the Democratic Party that it doesn't feel like they see it the way you do." Real quick, sir.
Well, and that's where you hit it on the head. So, I speak about American exceptionalism a lot. For those that are not real familiar with it, it means that America is a truly unique nation, that it is the greatest nation in the world, that we have so much potential, and we are the leaders of the free world,
right,
and that we are leaders in general. And I had Democrats come to me to say that's wrong. We're the same as any other country in the world.
Congressman, thank you.
They're wrong. That's not true.
So proud to have you this morning, sir. Thank you. Congratulations to you.
Now, it's interesting because he was Democrat and switched to Republican, of course, and it's interesting, and I think the biggest takeaway from this is that he was being pressured to vote for impeachment, even though his own conscience said, no, that this isn't right. But he was being pressured to do this. So how many other members of the Democratic Party were likewise pressured? We don't know that. He is just one that said, you know what, I'm not doing this. I'm going to switch to Republican. He did not feel that, first of all, he was not going to vote for impeachment, and he didn't agree with it. He knows that it was wrong, and he followed his conscience. But how many others are there out there that maybe they also see through this sham of an impeachment and they say, you know what, I'm not voting for this, but they were pressured to do so, even against their own conscience. So I think that is the biggest takeaway from this. And that, also that people are defecting from the Democrat Party. And I know there are some people on this channel, they were Democrats, but they've switched to Republican because they see where the Democrat Party is headed, which is towards socialism. I mean, that's just one of many things that's wrong. But so let's go back now and see what Q has to say. And he says, watch and listen carefully. Dems threaten and call independently elected officials to fall in line, follow orders, or face being ousted. Who controls the Democratic Party? Well, I would say that it is, a certain man by the name of George. Yes. Who really controls the Democratic Party? Well, I answered that. Who really controls the Democratic Party? Again, his name's George. Threat If a major political party can be controlled, does that represent a clear and present danger to the United States of America? Oh, yes, big time it does. If you can control, it's just like in a court of law. If you can control the judge, then you cannot trust that there will be real justice at all. If a judge is controllable, there is no justice in that court at all. And it's the same thing in the United States of America. If the political parties are controlled, then we don't have a democracy, that's for sure. So anyway, and he answers this for us as well, and he puts the initials GS. Well, we all know what those initials stand for. And he ends it Q. Now, I wanted to read this by De Oppresso Liber. George Soros controls the Democrat Party. Democrat leaders call independently elected Congress members to toe the line. So my question for Q is, why doesn't our special operators just take him out? He's one of the greatest enemies we face. Send a team of Delta operators in to take him out. He's an enemy combatant. Heck, with the arrest of Soros, how many innocent children has he slaughtered and raped over the years? How long must he be allowed to get away with all this? He's stolen so many of our elections. How many of our boys have bled and lost their lives in stupid, meaningless wars so that the globalist billionaires like him can line their pockets and grab more power? Let's end this, Q and Donald Trump. We trust the plan, but please take this monster out ASAP. Well, I think that they are doing what they can, and I think that they are doing they're doing everything in a set way. I have no doubt that GS will be brought down. It would be very interesting if that was the first indictment. I don't know. That's probably a little too much to hope for, but, you know, a girl can hope, right? So after all, you know, there's such a thing as a Christmas miracle. And wouldn't it be nice if we had one? It would be very nice. All right. We're going to move on to the next post, and it is drop 3750. Democrats want to block the census, inflate counts of illegals, and erode political power in the heartland. Of course they want to erode political party in the heartland because the heartland is conservative. And it is the larger city centers like New York, Los Angeles, places like that, you know, are much more liberal and their values are much more liberal. So yeah, they want to erode that. No doubt about that. And we've got a link here and we're going to go out there now. Take a look. Trump not backing down in effort to count citizens amid census fight, announces executive order. So you gotta love Trump. And I hope that he and his family has a wonderful Christmas. And, you know, he seems unflappable, President Trump. He really does. And I hope that he is as unflappable as he seems. President Trump, speaking at the White House on Thursday, announced that he would immediately issue an executive order to get an accurate count of non-citizens and citizens in the United States, a measure Trump said would be far more accurate than relying on a citizenship question in the 2020 census. And that is true. The move would make use of vast federal databases and free up information sharing among all federal agencies concerning who they know is living in the country, Trump said. Today, I'm here to say we are not backing down in our effort to determine the citizenship status of the United States population, the president told reporters in the Rose Garden after slamming far-left Democrats seeking to conceal the number of illegal aliens in our midst. And by the way, I don't know if this article goes into it, but, you know, it's been estimated that there are 11 million illegal aliens in the United States, foreign persons that are there illegally, but it's more like what I have read. Some say 22,000, but I've heard the latest estimate is as much as 29 million rather. Not million, thousand, that would be nice, but no, 29 million. We've heard that it was 11 million. It's not. Some people say it's as high as 22, but the latest numbers show as high as 29 million. That's a lot. A lot. So, we will leave no stone unturned, Trump asserted. He called legal opposition to adding a citizenship question to the 2020 census meritless, but said that ongoing judicial morass in several federal district courts make it logistically impossible to resolve the matter before the 2020 census forms needed to be printed. Seeking after Trump, Attorney General Bill Barr said the information collected via the executive order could be used in determining the makeup of the Electoral College and congressional apportionment. Please excuse me. I am so sorry. I am going to be looking into this in the new year. I really am, because this persistent cough has gone on way, way too long. And it's annoying. It's not just annoying to you. It's really annoying to me. And I know it's not pleasant to listen to. Okay. Let's come down here. That information will be used for countless purposes. For example, there's a current dispute over whether illegal aliens can be included for apportionment purposes. We will be studying this issue, Barr said. Census counts, which by law include illegal immigrants, have been used to determine the allocation of seats in the House of Representatives for the next 10 years, the number of electors afforded each state in the Electoral College, and the distribution of some $675 billion in federal spending. The Census Bureau's own experts have said requiring information about citizenship would discourage illegal immigrants from participating and lead to less accurate count. That, in turn, would redistribute money and political power away from many cities led by Democrats, where immigrants tend to cluster. Barr also agreed with Trump that the Supreme Court decision last month posed insurmountable logistical but not legal barriers to asking the citizenship question on the census. The government already has started the lengthy and expensive process of printing the census questionnaire without the question. Additionally, Barr slammed media reports that the White House would issue an executive order in an attempt to illegally force a citizenship question on the census. In the hysterical mode of the day, Barr said, media outlets speculated that Trump simply would add the question to the census unilaterally. This has never been under consideration, Barr said. Many Democrats promptly characterized the president's move as a retreat and condemned the news conference. Others vowed to consider challenging the executive order in court. President Trump is so intent on intimidating communities of color that even when the courts and rule of law thwart him, he still tries to persist in his ham-handed ways, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said in a statement. Well, who listens to anything Chuck Schumer says? Really? Seriously, the man's got issues. The president's retreat on adding the misguided citizen question to the census was long overdue and is a significant victory for democracy and fair representation. Every person must be counted, and no one should be intimidated by the president and his capricious behavior. Oh, I'm so sick of him. I'd say more, but it's Christmas Eve and I'm supposed to be jolly. Anyway, reacting to the news that the Trump administration would not ask the citizenship question on the census, Elizabeth Warren quipped at a town hall, wow, he's going to follow the law? Yeah, Elizabeth, unlike you. So anyway, I'm not going to read the rest of this, but yeah. The link will be there for your perusal. All right. Now, let's go back. Let's go back and see what Q has to say. That's why we're here, right? Okay. Why are Democrats attempting to block the counting of illegal immigrants? Well, why do you think? 2 + 2 = 4. Yeah, apparently it does. What is the total number of illegal immigrants currently in the United States? Well, it's a heck of a lot more than they tell us it is. I don't believe 11 million. Oh my gosh. That is so underestimated. It's ridiculously underestimated. What is the real total number of illegal immigrants in the U.S.? Probably close to 30,000. 30 million. Why am I saying 30,000? 30,000 is nothing. 30 million. I don't know. I've got too much sugar in my system, probably. By flooding coastal states controlled by Democrats, does this pull votes out of the heartland? Absolutely it does. It does. And at what point will your voice and your vote become null and void? And 5-5 means loud and clear. And is this clear? Is it loud and clear? Yeah, it's loud and clear, because the more immigrants, illegal immigrants that are flooding California, the more they get, they pull votes out of the heartland for the Democrats, because we know that the illegal immigrants are going to vote Democrat. They're going to vote for the hand that feeds them. They're not going to bite it. They're going to vote for it. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty, any place that has a huge concentration of illegal immigrants is going to vote Democrat. That's just a fact. And I remember when Q showed us the map of the what states had the most illegal immigrants, and then he overlaid it with what states were blue and what states were red, and the states with the most illegal immigrants were blue. So yeah, it is a proven fact. Now we're going to read this by Dio Presso Lieber. He is SunQ2 on Twitter. Good person to follow. Very, very knowledgeable and very good at decodes. Donald Trump signing executive order to order census. Dems oppose because it will show true number of illegals in country. Some have said there may be up to 35 million illegals in our country. Unsustainable. With blue states giving them all licenses they will lose. It is not time to drop the mother of all bombs, Q. Why not disclose to the public the heinous nature of Clinton Foundation crimes against children in Haiti? Will this not begin to wake the public up? How much longer? How many more illegals will they resettle before that time? I get a little impatient when it comes to Soros. Yet another reason I admire Donald Trump. I would have rounded all these traitors up on day one and displayed their crimes for the world to see over the next year, but that's just me, and I like Q's way and POTUS method better. And I think that really, if you and I were doing it, that's what we would have liked to have seen done. Round them all up, let everybody know what they did wrong, let the public decide. We know what they'll decide, but we know that couldn't happen that way because, number one, the justice system is broken. It was badly, badly broken. The DOJ, the FBI, the CIA, definitely. So they needed to clean this all up beforehand, and that's what they've been doing. So we will see justice. I think we may see it sooner than we think. All right. Now, let's come down to the next one, and it is drop 3751. 3751. Congressman Devin Nunes thanks online researchers. Now, I like this, and you can't stop me from liking it. And we're going to go out there now. Excuse me. I hope you all realize just how important your work here has been so far. Nunes even admitted that our research has helped in their investigations. Now that's something. So let's listen to this.
Now, we have long had real concerns about what was happening overseas. And so you can start with, and all your listeners know, and I want to thank you, to all your listeners, all the people you put that are out there on Twitter. It really made, in the grand scheme of things, a big difference because it really helped out our investigation. And we'll probably talk about that a little later. But I really do want to thank a lot of your listeners and Twitter followers because they would dig stuff up and we'd say, "Oh, we didn't think of that," and it would help us to go out and look at different items. And as you know, there's people all over the globe that helped aid this. Now, we have long had real concerns about what was happening overseas. And
okay,
so
sorry, it's just started over again. But that's interesting that he takes the time to thank. Now he's specifically thanking Dan Bongino's followers and Twitter users and so forth. But I think a lot of the Anons listen to Dan Bongino as well. I know I do. I don't listen to every single show, but I do try to catch him when I can because he brings up extremely important points. And I think he's very knowledgeable. So there you have it. And let's go back because we can. And let's go to the next, and it's drop 3752. 3752. Q encourages Anons to keep up the good fight. And this is from an Anon. It says, let Mr. Nunes know he is very welcome. It gets very wild in here at times, but the real Q research gets done despite all the BS going on around us. And obviously they're talking about the boards, because if you go out to the Q research board, yeah, there's a lot of nonsense on there and a lot of things that you don't necessarily want to look at, especially if you're a woman. You know, I really don't like seeing the, the topless women and so forth like that, but boys will be boys. And when you don't have censorship, that's what happens. And you've got to take it, because I would rather have to wade through the bad stuff than have all the good stuff censored out. So if you can't have no censorship and not have to put up with, there's a verse in the Bible and I always loved it. It was like when the stall is empty. No, when the ox is gone, the stall is something like when the ox is gone, the stall is clean. If you're going to have an ox, you got to put up with the mess, right? But if you don't have an ox, well, then you can keep your stall clean. So, yeah, something like that. Okay, then down here we have a meme. It says, it was hell out there and we were surrounded. The shills came at us from all sides in a relentless attack. I love that. And that's the way it feels sometimes. It feels like that sometimes to me too, with the shills contacting me and just, anything to try and get you off track, get you whatever. They're pretty easy to pick out, but they are getting better. Now, so Q acknowledges this post and says, keep up the good fight, Anons. Q. And here we go. We are at the last one, the last drop from yesterday. Q has not posted today, and I can imagine that he probably won't, because it's Christmas Eve and people are spending it with their families. But you never know. He may. Now, this one says, we are the news now. And it's just simply a link, and it links to Chuck Woolery's Twitter account. Now, I follow him on Twitter because I have found that he is a staunch supporter of President Trump, and definitely a conservative. So he said, and he says, America's newsroom is us. We have all become the alternative news media. And that is the truth. And I say that we are the news. And just because, I'm on a video, that doesn't mean that I'm the news. No, we are the news. Myself, all you guys listening, you guys regularly provide me with very useful information, tips, all sorts of stuff. And it takes us all, because we're all living in different areas. We all see different things, and we all come from different frames of reference. So I may pick up on something that you all may not pick up on, but you may pick up on something that I never thought of or never would have in my wildest imagination, just because of your background or where you happen to be located, or you heard something or whatever. So we are the news. We have to keep each other informed. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I am definitely okay with that. There are people on YouTube and other platforms that I trust and listen to. Doesn't mean that I don't check it out when they say something. Absolutely. And I would expect that you would check out anything I say. I wouldn't lie to you on purpose, but I could mislead you by mistake. And I pray that doesn't happen, because when I'm corrected, I do try to bring that correction to you guys, and because I do want to be responsible. Anyway, I'm okay with us being the news now. I haven't been listening to mainstream media for probably close to 2 decades. So I listen to it at times just to hear what they're saying and to understand their narrative, but then I go and do my due diligence myself, because I don't trust anything they say, like nothing. So that is it for the Q post, and I'm kind of considering whether I should go on with a few news items or not, because as you can tell, my voice is not the best. So actually, I think I'm going to leave the news until the next video. Now, the next video will not be tomorrow. Tomorrow is Christmas, and I will be spending that with my family, as I hope all of you will be. And I will be back, hopefully, on the 26th. And then things will get... Now, the 26th here in Canada is Boxing Day, which is very odd. After living so many years in the States, I find Boxing Day odd. I never did. I just took it for granted. I thought the whole world had Boxing Day after Christmas. But then living in the States for so many years, I realized, you know what? Nobody knows what Boxing Day is. And they'd ask me questions like, is that like Boxing Day? And I'd say, no, it's like when you box up everything from Christmas, and it's a holiday. But here, now, we have been starting to have Boxing Day sales. So we get up at the crack of stupid. And when I say crack of stupid, I'm meaning crack of stupid. And you got to be stupid to get up here. It's really dark. You can get up, 7 o'clock this morning. I got up and I was like, it's still dark out. How, but anyway, yeah. So people stand in line for hours and hours to get into the stores, just like your Black Friday, except it's Boxing Day and they have Boxing Day sales. And so that is the tradition, is you have your Christmas, you eat all your, you have your feast, you spend it with your family. And then the next day you get up at the crack of stupid and you stand outside of stores. And you know what? I've never been one for that tradition, but you know something? This year, I've got it in my head that I want to experience it just once. Just once. Now, I'll probably say, yeah, I was right. I don't want to do that again, but maybe not. So that is what I'm going to be doing. Tomorrow's with family. Then I'm going to get up. Well, I was going to say with the birds, but I think the birds will still be asleep when I get up. So then I'm going to do that, try to get a few bargains, and then hopefully I'll have some time to do my show on the 26th. And after that, I should be on a regular schedule. So just so that you guys know now, I don't want to forget this. I almost did. I want to thank these people. You guys are so generous to me, really, and you have been unbelievable. I'm so grateful. And I had coffee donors. They call me Alabama. That is the name that this person goes by. Said, Merry Christmas from Rex, Cecilia, Squeaky, and Miss Kitty. Here's 3 cups for you and a cup of decaf each for Sammy and Xander. I love that. I got a little smile out of that. And from Santiago Vasquez. And thank you for your prayers. They told me that they were praying for my mom and my stepdad, and I appreciate those prayers very much. They are both doing very well. So we had a little family Christmas last night, and I spent time with them, and my mother's doing phenomenally well. I mean, still having, it's going to be a while, but she's doing well. Now, Roger Jones, thank you, Roger. And I'm sorry that I mispronounced your nickname last time, so I didn't even try it this time. I just used your name. So Fred from Taiwan, thank you so much, Fred. That was extremely generous of you, extremely. Thank you very, very much. Carly from Florida, thank you. And Dahlia from Australia. Now, look at all these people. We've got 3 from the United States, 1 from, well, 4, Taiwan, Australia. We've got listeners all over. And I think that's wonderful because it's just a nice mix of people here. That's how I feel anyway. Maybe you feel differently, but I just think that we have a really good group of people here. And also, we picked up 2 new Patreon supporters, Meredith Young and Frederick Wang. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that support. And then I got a bunch in the mail. You know, snail mail is so much fun because everybody sends emails anymore, and it's just fun to get something in the mail that has somebody's handwriting on it, and you know that they took the time to write that out and wish you well, and you know, put that in the mail to you. It's just fun. Anyway, Annie Dench from Ontario, and that's not her real name, but she could have fooled me, so we'll just call her Annie Dench. She's from Ontario, and she sent me a wonderful card, also a donation, and a Petro-Canada gas card. That will come in very handy for the holidays, let me tell you. And gas in Ontario is extremely expensive, so thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Rita M. from Ottawa, Ontario, she sent an awesome letter and a donation. Judy L. from Indiana, I've gotten things from her before. She sent a card, a card donation. She sent me a book, which had me laughing because I was reading through these. It's called Bake America Great Again. Bake America Great Again. And it's got some of these recipes make me laugh. We the People cookies. Let me see. Big Apple oatmeal cookies. Let me see. It's freedom flags. Yeah, they're all kind of born to corn sticks. And Eagle Rights for All. Jammin' for Justice cookies. So these are just hysterical. 4th of July pinwheels. Orange You Glad You're American cookies. Now, I am going to try those, and none of you guys are going to stop me. If you lived closer, I would share them with you because I only bake things when I can take them to somebody else. I don't bake for myself ever. So if you were closer, I'd bake you some cookies. So anyway, this is just a really cute book, and I am going to try some of these recipes. Bake America Great Again. Awesome. And she sent me some cat magnets, which I would show you, but they're already stuck to my fridge because I loved them. And I had to stick them up right away. I showed them to the cats, but they didn't seem overly enthused about them. Not as much as I was. So thank you so much, Judy. I appreciate that. And Allison M. from Ohio, she sent a wonderful Christmas card, a note, and donation. Thank you so very much. C. Sparks from Virginia. I like that. C. Sparks. Lovely Christmas card and note. Thank you so much. Karen Ralph from upstate New York. Christmas card and note. Thank you. Actually, I just got those last 2 today. I checked the mail. They closed early today for Christmas Eve, obviously. So I just got there before they closed, and I was glad I did because I had a few Christmas cards in there. So also we have Joanna Chestnut. She sent a book and letter. Well, more of a note than a letter, really. But this is her book. Now, I haven't read it, but I've looked through it, and it does look pretty good. And it's called Liberals Lied to Me. You can get it on Amazon. So I'm just giving her a little plug here. She was nice enough to send it to me, and actually it does look like it's very well written. A lot of books that I read are not so well written, but it's obvious that she actually can write. So, and it looks good. It really does look good. So anyway, that's Liberals Lied to Me, and you can get it on Amazon. All right. Well, that is it. And thank you so much, you guys that leave comments and encouraging little notes and your prayers. I appreciate all of it. I really do. And I feel so blessed to be able to do this and to have the people that listen to me, the quality of people that listen to me, I feel very blessed and humbled by it. So I just wish you a wonderful Christmas. I really do, from the bottom of my heart. I hope it is a wonderful Christmas and a wonderful new year. I hope that 2020 will be very good to you all. And I pray that you stay safe over the holidays and stay well. So thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you after the holiday. Take care.